You know that sound, that satisfying fizz when you crack open a cold can?
Oh, yeah?
And then the sweet taste hits your tongue. It's this wave of familiar pleasure, but you look at the label, 0 calories.
Uh,
For decades, diet soda has been promising us, well, the impossible, right? All the flavor, none of the guilt.
it really does feel like a promise that's almost too good to be true.
Exactly.
And, in the world of nutrition, when something seems that simple, that easy,
Hmm.
it's always worth taking a much closer look.
That's a crucial principle, isn't it? So today, our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack the science behind this fizzy drink. Is it like a harmless tool for managing sugar?
Or is it maybe more of a metabolic trickster, kind of confusing the brain and maybe upsetting the gut?
Right. We're going to journey from, believe it or not, an accidental lab discovery,
Yeah, the history is wild.
all the way to this really complex conversation happening between your tongue, your brain, and yes, your gut.
Yeah.
And then finally, what does all this research actually mean for, your healthy lifestyle? Let's dive right in.
Absolutely. And to really get it, we have to go back, way back to the beginning. It all starts with, well, quite an incredible accident, actually.
You're not kidding. Okay, picture this. It's 1879, Johns Hopkins University. There's a chemist, Konstantin Fallberg. He's deep in his lab working with coal tar derivatives. Doesn't exactly sound delicious.
Not at all.
But after a long day, he goes home for dinner, forgets to wash his hands properly,
Well,
takes a bite of bread, and is just stunned by how intensely sweet it is. He traces it back to a compound he'd been handling,
wow.
names it saccharin, and boom, just like that, the world's first artificial sweetener was born. Imagine discovering that on your dinner roll.
It's incredible. And what's fascinating is how its use changed over time.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, saccharin was, well, a lifesaver, really, for people with diabetes.
Yeah.
It let them control their sugar intake.
Right, a medical thing first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then, after World War II, the whole landscape just shifted dramatically. We entered this new era of, body consciousness, consumerism was booming.
People wanted convenience, pleasure, maybe without the consequences.
Precisely. And that leads us to the next big step.
So how did saccharin go from this niche medical product to being part of mainstream diet culture? Was there one specific product that really kicked things off?
Yeah, there was. That's where Tab comes in. Remember Tab?
Vaguely. Pink can, right?
That's the one. In 1963, Royal Crown Cola launched Pab. It was the first major diet soda, sweetened with saccharin, that original accidental discovery, and also cyclamen, another early sweetener.
Okay.
And it really tapped into this growing desire people had for weight control, but without giving up pleasure.
But the real game changer, the one that really put diet soda on the map culturally,
Right.
that had to be Diet Coke.
Oh, without a doubt, 1982. The launch of Diet Coke, sweetened with aspartame, which was relatively new then.
Right.
It wasn't just a drink for dieters anymore. It became this massive marketing juggernaut, a cultural icon, really.
Right.
It symbolized, a modern, health-aware lifestyle.
So the age of diet soda had officially arrived, all built on this promise. Sweet life, no sugary consequences.
Mm-hmm. Which brings us right to the core question.
Yeah, how can something taste so incredibly sweet but have 0 calories? It seems like magic, but it's actually this brilliant feat of, molecular mimicry.
That's a great way to put it. See, we all know instinctively, right? Sweet taste means energy is coming.
Sugar equals fuel.
Exactly. Your tongue has these little things called taste receptors, like tiny locks. Sugar molecules are the perfect key for the sweet receptor lock. They fit, signal the brain. Sweetness detected. Energy incoming.
And your body knows what to do with that sugar, breaks it down for fuel. That's where the calories come from.
Right. Now, here's where the artificial sweeteners come in. Think of them as master skeleton keys.
Okay.
Molecules like aspartame, the Diet Coke, 1-sucralose, which you probably know as Splenda, and a sulfame potassium, or ACE-K. They're designed with just the right shape to sort of jiggle that sweet receptor lock.
Ah, they tricked the lock.
They trick the lock. They fit well enough to trigger the exact same, hey, it's sweet, signal to your brain. But, and this is key, they do it with incredible efficiency.
How efficient are we talking?
Well, get this. Aspartame is about 200 times sweeter than regular table sugar.
200 times.
And sucralose, a staggering 600 times sweeter. So you only need a minuscule amount, like tiny, tiny specks, to get that powerful sweet taste.
Wow. Okay, so they tricked the tongue. But what's the crucial difference? Why no calories?
It's what happens after the tongue, these molecular skeleton keys.
Yeah.
Well, your body doesn't really have the right metabolic tools to use them for energy like it does sugar.
So they don't get broken down for fuel.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Aspartame is broken down into components your body absorbs,
Hmm.
but the amount is so incredibly tiny that the calorie contribution is basically zero, negligible.
Oh,
Sucralose is even cleverer in a way. It's a modified sugar molecule, but it's designed so your body barely absorbs it at all. It just passes right through you.
so, long story short, they fool the first checkpoint, the tongue, but the rest of the body isn't really getting the energy it was told was coming.
Precisely. The body knows something's a bit off.
And this is where things get really interesting, right? This whole brain-gut conversation. It's fascinating how connected everything is.
It really is. So when you drink that diet soda, you're basically sending a mixed message.
How so?
Well, your brain has been conditioned, like, over millennia. Sweet taste equals calories equals energy. It's a fundamental survival link.
Okay.
So you sip the diet soda. Sweet receptors on the tongue fire. The reward centers in your brain light up. You get that little hit of dopamine, that pleasure.
Feels good.
Feels good.
Yeah.
And your brain anticipates. It tells your pancreas, your liver, your gut,
Mm-hmm.
okay, team, get ready. Sugar's on the way.
Ah,
But then
yeah.
nothing arrives. The expected calories, the glucose boost in your bloodstream, it just never shows up. This is what scientists call a prediction error. The expected outcome didn't happen. The link between sweet and energy has been uncoupled, broken.
Okay, a prediction error. What happens then if the brain keeps getting fooled?
Well, this is where the research gets really intriguing. Some researchers hypothesize that over time, this repeated uncoupling could actually weaken the predictive power of sweetness itself.
Meaning?
Meaning, your brain might stop associating sweetness with feeling full or satisfied. And this could, paradoxically, make you crave more real sugar later on to actually get that satisfying energy hit that the diet drink promised but didn't deliver.
Wow, so it could backfire in terms of cravings. Yeah,
It's a working theory, but it highlights the complexity.
So if the brain's getting this mixed message, what are the sort of real-world effects? Does it actually make people hungrier? And what about that big question people always ask, does diet soda spike your insulin? You know, the hormone that handles sugar.
Right, that's probably one of the most debated questions out there. The theory involves something called the cephalic phase insulin response.
Cephalic phase.
Yeah, it basically means a response triggered by the head, by the taste and smell alone, before anything even hits your stomach. The idea is that just tasting something sweet might be enough to trigger a small anticipatory release of insulin.
Okay, so does it happen?
Well, the current scientific consensus for most people is that artificial sweeteners do not cause a significant insulin spike. If there's any effect from the cephalic phase, it seems to be really tiny, almost negligible.
Nothing like real sugar.
Exactly. Nothing compared to the massive insulin release you get from a regular sugar-loaded soda.
Yeah.
But it's important to say research is still ongoing, and individual responses can always vary.
Right, personalization is key. Okay, so the insulin spike seems mostly like a non-issue for most people. What about the gut microbiome? We hear so much about gut health now, these trillions of bacteria. What's the deal with the diet soda and them?
This is honestly maybe the most exciting and potentially concerning area of current research. Your large intestine is home to literally trillions of bacteria, this bustling inner city,
Yeah.
your gut microbiome.
Yeah.
And these microbes are vital. They help with digestion, immune function, even your mood. Now, remember how some sweeteners like sucralose and saccharin aren't really absorbed higher up?
Right, they pass through.
They pass through all the way down to the large intestine where this huge microbial community lives. So they essentially become food, or at least interact with your gut bacteria.
Which sounds okay, feeding the good guys.
Well, maybe not always the right food for keeping a healthy balance. Think of your gut like a diverse rainforest. You want lots of different beneficial species thriving.
Mm-hmm.
Some studies, and we need to stress, mostly in animals so far, but some emerging human data too, suggest that artificial sweeteners might act a bit like, say, a pollutant. They might favor the growth of certain less desirable weedy bacteria over the more beneficial species.
Creating an imbalance.
Exactly, an imbalance called dysbiosis.
Yeah.
And dysbiosis has been linked in research to things like inflammation and metabolic problems like glucose intolerance.
Okay, that sounds potentially more concerning.
It is, but again, it's crucial context. This research is still pretty early stage. We don't fully understand the long-term effects on the human microbiome yet. It's a huge area of ongoing investigation. We're just starting to figure out how profound this interaction might be.
It really shows how everything's connected, doesn't it? It's not just about calories.
Not at all.
And speaking of these sweeteners, it's kind of amazing how they've crept into so many products beyond just soda, right?
Or absolutely. Diet soda is the obvious one, But if you start looking at labels, especially for anything marketed as low sugar, light, or keto-friendly,
You find them everywhere.
everywhere. Yogurts, for instance.
Wow.
Protein powders and bars are loaded with them often.
Chewing gum, mints.
Yep. Condiments, too. Think ketchup, BBQ sauce, salad dressings, even things like flavored waters, powdered drink mixes.
Wait, even toothpaste and mouthwash?
Sometimes, yeah. And cough drops, some liquid medications. Really shows how widespread they are, often in places you wouldn't even think to look.
That's actually quite eye-opening. Okay, so they're everywhere. But with that prevalence comes a lot of, let's be honest, strong opinions and sometimes outright fear. We should probably tackle some of the biggest myths.
Definitely. Let's clear the air a bit.
Myth number 1, the big one. Artificial sweeteners will give you cancer. You hear this all the time.
Right. And the reality is, this fear largely goes back to a specific study in the 1970s. It linked saccharin, that first sweetener, to bladder cancer, but only in male rats.
Okay, rats, not humans.
Exactly. And they were given absolutely astronomical doses, way beyond what any human would consume. Plus, later research found the mechanism causing the cancer was specific to rat physiology. It doesn't happen in humans.
So that study isn't really relevant to us.
Pretty much no. Since then, there have been tons of large-scale human studies on all the approved sweeteners, and major health organizations globally, the FDA in the US, EFSA in Europe, and others have all reviewed the evidence extensively.
And the conclusion.
Their conclusion is that these sweeteners are safe for human consumption at the established acceptable daily intake levels, the ADIs.
And those levels are high, right?
Very high. For aspartame, for example, the ADI is equivalent to drinking something like 18 cans of diet soda a day, every single day, for your entire life.
Wow. Okay, so 18 cans a day, that definitely puts the risk in perspective.
Ah.
Myth busted, seems like.
For typical consumption levels, yes.
All right, myth number 2. Diet sodas are a magic bullet for weight loss.
Yes, the magic wand idea. Look, are they a tool? Yes. If you swap out, say, a 500-calorie sugary drink habit every day with a 0-calorie diet soda,
You cut 500
you
calories?
cut 500 calories,
Okay.
that calorie deficit can absolutely support weight loss or prevent weight gain. Simple math.
But
Modern observational studies often show this confusing correlation. People who drink a lot of diet soda are, on average, more likely to be overweight or obese.
so the soda is causing weight gain.
Not necessarily. Correlation isn't causation, right? This could be what's called reverse causation, meaning people who are already overweight or trying to lose weight are the ones choosing diet drinks in the first place.
So the weight issue came first, then the diet soda choice.
Could be. Or it could be the health halo effect. You know, that feeling of, oh, I had a diet soda, I saved calories, so now I can totally have this giant burger and fries.
Huh. Yeah, I think we've all probably done that at some point, compensating.
Exactly. So the diet soda itself isn't magic. It's about the overall dietary pattern, the total calories, the food choices surrounding it. It's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle.
That makes sense. It's a tool, not the whole solution.
Okay, final myth. Natural sweeteners like stevia are automatically better for you.
This is a big one because natural sounds so appealing, doesn't it?
Totally. It feels healthier.
But natural is often more of a marketing term than a strict scientific one. While stevia does come from the leaves of a plant.
The sweeteners used in products, like Rebet, are actually highly purified extracts. They're not like eating the whole leaf. They're processed.
Okay, so still processed. How do they work compared to, say, aspartame?
Well, fundamentally, they're also non-nutritive. They trick your sweet receptors without providing calories, just like their artificial cousins.
So the same basic mechanism.
The same basic mechanism. While they offer a plant-based option that many people prefer, the core questions around how they affect that brain-gut axis, the prediction error, the microbiome, those questions are actually very similar to the ones we ask about aspartame or sucralose. The science is still exploring the nuances for all of them.
So natural doesn't automatically mean fundamentally different in how it interacts with our biology.
Not necessarily, no. It's more complex than that label suggests.
Okay, so looking ahead then, it seems like the future of sweetness is, well, complicated. Are there new things coming?
Yeah, there are always new options emerging, like allulose, for example. It's technically a rare sugar. It exists in nature in small amounts, tastes sweet, but our bodies don't really metabolize it for energy.
Interesting. Another way to get sweet without calories.
Exactly. But what's perhaps even more fascinating is the shift towards personalized nutrition.
Tell me more about that.
Well, the future probably isn't going to be a simple universal verdict on whether diet soda or any specific sweetener is good or bad for everyone.
Because we're all different.
Precisely. It's about understanding you. How does your individual gut microbiome react when you consume sucralose? Does having a diet drink trigger sugar cravings for you specifically? Or does it genuinely help you manage your sugar intake?
So moving beyond these blanket rules.
Yes, moving away from one-size-fits-all diet advice towards really informed personal choices based on our own unique biology, which we're getting better and better at understanding.
So let's bring it all together. What does this mean for that can of diet soda someone might be reaching for?
We started asking, is it this guilt-free pleasure or more of a metabolic trickster?
Mm-hmm.
And after digging into the science, it seems the truth isn't simple. It's not just good or bad. It's this complex situation where the absence of calories, paradoxically, sends these subtle signals to your brain and gut.
Right. Signals that could, over time, maybe reshape your relationship with sweetness, with satiety.
Yeah, I mean, it is a marvel of food science, no doubt, and it absolutely can be a useful tool, especially for transitioning away from high-sugar drinks.
Definitely. And stepping back, it's crucial to reiterate. Based on current evidence, these sweeteners aren't the scary cancer-causing villains some headlines make them out to be, especially at normal consumption levels. Major health bodies agree on their safety from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But they aren't a complete free pass either. That promise of all the sweet, none of the consequences, it's not quite the whole story.
Because of that disconnect. Exactly. That disconnect between taste and actual nutrition. The prediction error in the brain might have these subtle long-term effects on our cravings, our food choices. We just don't fully know the extent yet.
And the gut microbiome piece feels really important too.
Hugely important. Their journey into our gut and how they interact with that complex ecosystem that might be disrupting the balance in ways we're only just beginning to understand. It's a really profound area of science that's unfolding right now.
So the ultimate question then, should you drink diet soda? It sounds like there's no universal yes or no.
There really isn't. Instead of looking for that simple answer from us or anyone else, the real power lies in turning your curiosity inward.
Paying attention to yourself?
Exactly. Ask yourself, how does this fit into my life? Does having a diet soda actually help me consume less sugar overall? Or does it just keep that craving for intense sweetness alive?
Does one can satisfy you, or does it maybe leave you wanting something more? Maybe something with actual sugar later on.
Mm-hmm. Pay attention to how your body feels, how your mind responds. Are you using it as a tool, or is it potentially reinforcing habits you want to change?
It really comes down to individual context and self-awareness.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Ultimately, the most powerful ingredient in your health journey isn't going to be found in a can.
What is it then?
It's your own informed curiosity, your willingness to observe yourself and make choices that truly serve you.